on, you guys? It's your girl Candace here from Swipes and Giggles, here to give you the 401 on online dating a little bit more. It's your girl me, it's your girl me. It's me, Candace, okay, who can't say her intro correctly. And you already know what it is. We are back with another Insecure recap. This is Insecure Season 4, Episode 9, Lowkey Trying, okay? And Molly was low-key trying me, all right? Before I get going, please make sure that you hit that like button, hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. And make sure that you subscribe and share it to all your friends and family who know and love and enjoy me with you. So let's get straight into it, because this episode was one of those, it didn't go too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, there wasn't so much in it that you're like, oh my gosh, this is just too much. There wasn't like the list bit that we've used to been getting from Insecure episodes lately. I think last episode was the first episode that we've had that there had some type of like core context through the whole entire thing. And that one was directed by Kelly. I forgot her real like name, but her, you know, Kelly in the series directed that episode. The episode before that, when it was Molly's Vacation, it was directed by Lawrence, aka Jay Ellis. And this episode, Lowkey Tryin, was directed by the one and only Kerry Washington. And I loved how she had everything flow throughout the episode, the camera angles, the quality of lighting that was used and everything. I think it came out really, really well, and it definitely made me feel like I was the third party friend watching this all happen in front of me, and I was having both of them tell me their sides of it all at the same time. So let's just get into the recap of this thing. And yeah, so once I wanted to say I'm so sorry that I didn't have this out last night. I literally knocked out, I didn't even watch the episode last night. I knocked out around like literally 9:59. Like, I was in bed about to turn the TV on and I knocked the complete F out. So I watched the episode around 4 or 5 o'clock this morning, and I decided to come outside and just get a different scenery and make this video. Hopefully I am talking louder than what my car is running, because obviously it's hot outside and I need my AC or else it's gonna be hot in here. So yeah, so let's get into it. So I love the opening scene of Issa and Lawrence having their moments inside the house in front of that couch. Like I mentioned in the last recap, Issa had made a note about Lawrence having the couch in the apartment. That is the couch that they share together. I'm not too sure how long exactly in the apartment they lived, but that's the couch that they share together, that they ate together with. They talked, they made love, they just were there, you know. And the last time that we seen that couch was season 1, I believe, when Lawrence had came to the apartment and gave her a quick little butt nut and then left. That was the last time we really seen the couch, and she had to depart with it shortly after because she had to move out and everything like that. So it's nice to see that we got a chance to see the couch being utilized and used like it used to be before we walked in on season 1 of Insecure. We got to see, like, you know, just them two being a dynamic duo and loving on each other, which I really do appreciate. And they had sex a lot on that couch. I'm starting to think that the bedroom's not their favorite place. They just like being outside in the open if they can. But it was nice to see them just kind of being in each other's space without being too clingy or being too much on each other. Issa did bring up the conversation with Condola, and he said, you know, they did talk, and it is over. And the reason why they had to have a conversation is because, you know, Issa brought up the fact that her and Nathan are still friends, and she wanted to make sure that Lawrence was okay with that, and also she wanted to make sure he knew everything. She's like, this time around I want to be honest, I don't know what this is. And he's like, well, what do you want it to be? She goes, I mean, I don't know, like, you know. So I think right now they're kind of just slowly just getting to know each other as new people, because even he said in the last episode that, you know, he likes this Issa. This is a new Issa for him, and this is a new Lawrence for her. So it's nice to get to know a person over again that you've been disconnected with for like the past year, basically. So then we jump into Molly seeing Dr. Rhonda. And these are the two quotes that I took from her. Well, the two quotes but are questions to Molly, saying, does the relationship still serve you? And also, do you still want to try to be friends with her? So Dr. Rhonda basically says any person that hurts Molly in any type of way, she puts a wall up. She doesn't want to hear or talk about them. She doesn't want to be mentioned to them whatsoever. She just doesn't want to talk about it. And basically, I like the way that Dr. Rhonda answered this, is does the relationship still serve you? And henceforth of, does the relationship do anything for you? If you didn't have, Issa, or if you personally didn't have a certain person in your life anymore that you had a great relationship with and you guys butted heads, would that person not being in your life anymore disrupt you or make you feel some weird type of way? I think we all, I personally have some people who I don't have in my life anymore, some family, some actual friends, but it's one of those things where, yeah, could have that, having that person around me serve me, definitely, but I'm not going to beg for anyone to be a part of my life that just doesn't want to be and is also closed-minded. Excuse me, your girl burped or whatever. And also, do you still want to be friends? Do you still want to carry out the relationship? And what really was pissing me off with Molly is because Molly just still had this stank attitude with Issa over a confrontation that she started, and she took it there with certain words that she would say. And Molly's just one of those people who just doesn't realize, because of your actions, this is the reason why we're here today. You gave Issa some really effed up words of encouragement by telling her life is messy when she wasn't doing anything wrong. But in your eyes, Issa, who was single, living her life, not talking to Lawrence that way, accepted Condola that was dating Lawrence, accepted that Condola and hers could still be friends, and she was just chilling, to you was wrong. She shouldn't have been living her life like that. And because it was wrong to you, then it's just wrong, period. And that's not what a friendship is. A friendship is being there for each other. And even if you don't agree with how each other lives their life, you put your opinion up. If they take it, they take it. They don't, they don't. But you still support them, and you be there for them because that's your friend. That's who you wanted to be in your life. So there it is. We then see that Nathan and Issa are still having conversations because he wants her to come over later on that weekend to help with moving out of the household that him and Andrew shared. And I think the only sucky part about that is that Issa is in a compromising position. She went back with her ex, which is kind of a very hard pill to swallow for anyone, especially if you were the one who did bad or you were the one who got treated bad. It's like going back with the ex, everybody kind of looks at you like, are you stupid? They're an ex for a reason. You don't go back to your ex. But sometimes you need that time apart to really figure out who you are as a person in your own self, and then maybe you can get back to what you had beforehand. I think that's what Issa and Lawrence are doing now. So Issa calls Kelly, and Kelly has English and Spanish for her voicemail, which I really do appreciate because we all know Kelly runs her own business. So she wants to let it be known that she's multicultural, that she's able to take any type of call or client. And I think that's really dope. And then she calls her brother Amal, and Amal is just no help. He's eating some spicy tacos or whatever may have you. And, he's just basically agreeing with everything Issa's saying. He's not even caring about it. So then Issa calls Molly, and in the parting of calling Molly, she says, hey, I just wanted to talk to you and see if we could get together. Plus, you're the only person who knows about this whole Lawrence thing. And Molly's like, see, you only want to talk about you, don't want to talk about us. You're still the selfish ass bitch that you were. And we all find that was a fantasy moment that Issa had about what would happen if Molly answered. But she did call. She got her voicemail. She said, hey, just wondering if you would like to get together for lunch or whatever. So Issa and Molly meet up. Now, before this, Molly hears the voicemail from Issa, and she's like, okay, cool, whatever, fine. Molly also was invited by Andrew's brother Victor to go to a game. I don't know if it was baseball, basketball, or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna guess that it was maybe basketball. football or maybe soccer. I don't know, during this type of season. I'm not too sure. And Molly said, no, I don't feel comfortable going. And he said, well, you know, he apologized. He's sorry. I think it's just great if you guys have a great start, you know, now. And Molly's like, no, I don't want to. You could go for both of us, though. Cool. And you could tell Andrew felt some type of way. Because remember the last episode, the episode before this, when Molly and Andrew were on vacation, Molly had that argument with Victor, Andrew's brother, about, you know, what it's like to be racially profiled as a black person or as an Asian person, or when is it convenient for you to use your race as a cop-out. That's basically what Molly said to Andrew Victor. And I know that Andrew felt some type of way that Molly said that, but we haven't really talked about that. So I think maybe in the next coming episodes, we're going to hear Andrew's viewpoint on her saying that about Asians, because I know it probably hurt him. And then this is also hurting him that you're not even going to give his brother the benefit of the doubt and just like know that a conversation had happened. So anyway, Issa and Molly meet up. They do not speak on their issues at all. They just started talking about surface area things like, you know, how's you been? How's your family been and everything? As my nephew called. Okay, so continue on what I was saying. Basically, Andrew was upset that Molly didn't want to go to see Victor. So, like I said before, Molly and Issa meet up. They don't speak on their issues. They talk about like surface area things. How's your mom? How's your dad? How's the family? Just very subtle, you know, conversation. Because if I had an issue with a person, I'm not sitting there to be like, all right, so boom, this is how I feel, blah, 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 blah. Especially if it's my best friend. I want to, you know, talk about them first. Let's get into it first. And then after the, you know, 1 to 2, 3 times that we met up, then we can slowly kind of get into the behind reasons of what happened. What was the argument about? What was the reason of our, you know, demise and everything? Because sometimes some people aren't very comfortable bringing something up so quick, because it's almost like, oh, so you just came here to like come at me. So you kind of have to approach it like walking on eggshells, unfortunately. When they leave the restaurant, Molly speaks to Andrew, and she basically says, I mean, it was on some surface area stuff. She didn't bring up the block party. She didn't talk about it. So, I mean, she's still messy. So then Andrew's like, well, why didn't you bring it up? She goes, because I shouldn't have to do everything. I shouldn't have to go out my way. She was the one who was out of line. She was the one who was wrong. And it's like one of those things. Once again, Molly, this isn't about just specifically you. It's you two as a partnership. So the fact that Issa invited you out to like talk and have a conversation and just see how each other's doing, then you should have had no problem whatsoever when it came to the situation going like, you know, look, Issa, I'm glad that you invited me, but I did feel some type of way from the block party. That's all easy. And then he brings up his brother thing again, and she was just like, no, the only thing I'm missing is LaToya, because we still can't find her. Because, you know, it's Finding LaToya is a show within inside the show. Then Issa comes out of like a cycling studio with her intern, and they're trying to set up another, you know, like block party or a small like get together, whatever, just bringing this city together. And she gets a call from Lawrence, and you know, she tells him that she met up with Molly. She goes, I think it went really well. We didn't talk about our issues, but I think we'll get there when we need to. I think right now we're doing okay and just talking and laughing. I missed her. Lawrence is in San Francisco at the time, and she asked him how the interview go. He said it went really, really good. So I'm not too sure how the season is going to end, whether it be Lawrence goes on an interview goes on another interview, or he sticks to this job that he found in San Francisco and he moves there, and then Issa moves there with him. But Issa does have all this stuff going on down there in Inglewood, so I'm not too sure. It might look like Lawrence and Issa do something long distance, or one of them gives up something, or they just both know they tried and maybe right now isn't the best time for them. I'm not too sure. So then we have Issa meeting up with Nathan to help him move his stuff around in his new place. He was sharing a apartment / household with Andrew, and he has finally moved out. So Issa goes over there to kind of help him and everything, and she's acting so stupid and so weird, you know, trying to make it clear to Nate that, you know, we cool, but we ain't gonna be like cool like we used to, because Nate and Issa hasn't done anything up to this point. They just been hanging around each other and just reconnecting again, because you remember last season Nate had ghosted her, and Andrew a couple of episodes ago when they was on vacation had made a note that he had like kind of like a mental breakdown, or he was going through some things mentally with his mental behavior. So we still don't know if Issa even knows this as of yet, but the way Issa was acting, like, yeah, bruh, yo, what's up, fam? Like, she's just trying to friend zone him so much. And then finally, when he did do something flirtatious, she kind of let him know, like, you know, I'm kind of back with my ex. He's like, oh, the one you cheated on? She's like, yeah. He goes, well, hopefully he doesn't go back to basically just being a bum. And she's like, that's not gonna happen. He goes, yeah, you sure? Because last time. And she goes, well, at least he knows how to use his words instead of just walking out and leaving. So then Nate kind of turns to her and says, I didn't just leave. You know, I found out that I'm bipolar, which is something, once again, I'm glad Issa, the directors and the creators of Insecure are bringing in a lot of issues that a lot of Black people do not speak about, and or just don't speak about in general when it comes to their mental behavior and their mental health. And him saying that he found out he went to Houston and he was diagnosed being bipolar. You know, he had mentioned to her that he had been depressed in the past, but he just didn't know, like, you know, why he couldn't shake it. And then he kind of finds out. So he then comes to find out, like, you know, I needed good positive energy people in my corner, and he says that Issa is one of them. He's again, I don't want to lose you. And so I think that he respects the relationship that him and Issa have, and he also respects the fact that she wasn't going to sit there and wait for him forever either, even though he was, you know, trying to do something with it. I think that he respects Lawrence and Issa's relationship. But in the preview of the next season, next episode, it looks like he's like about to tell her, I really need to tell you, I really be feeling you, and I don't know if I could just be friends. But we'll see when we get there. So we then get to Molly coming home to Andrew at Andrew's place, and basically, you know, she brings food and stuff like that, and he's like, you know, oh, the game with my brother was really fun, we had a good time. And she's like, that's great. He goes, well, you know, he did invite us. And she's like, yeah, and you went for us. And he's like, but it would have been great to have you there. She's like, but why would you force me to go to something I'm not comfortable with? And once again, this is a point in time that it upsets Andrew, because it seems like, you know, in the beginning, Andrew didn't want to open up about his family. He didn't want to talk about his family and, you know, his siblings and how he was raised. But Molly forced him to be open to talk about it. So now that he's bringing you around the said family that he didn't want to talk about and didn't want to mention, and because you get upset about one little thing, you shut down and not want to be open to meeting his family or seeing his family anymore, is very unfair, because you forced him out of his comfort zone. So now that he's trying to force you, now he can't do that. Now it's a problem. And I think that's another issue of Molly's. Like Dr. Rhonda said, you have a quick impulse of putting up a wall and not seeing everybody else's point of view and validating their feelings. And that's the one thing that could piss a person off, especially me, is invalidating my feelings. Before they could get into an argument, Nathan and Issa came into the household to grab a couple more boxes, and they offered them food, and they kind of just ended up sitting around having some wine, drinking, and having a great time and talking. And Issa and Molly even started talking about the good old days of going into their first apartments and things like that. Like, you know, just kind of reminiscing and having fun. And then they're about to start playing a game called Celebrity Height, where you give a celebrity name and everybody in the room has to guess the height. If they get it wrong, then you drink. Andrew gets up to go, I don't know, get some more chips or something like that, and he kind of winks at Molly, and Molly texts Andrew and says, see, I am trying with her. But Molly didn't check the contact name and accidentally sent it to Issa herself. Issa reads it, replies back to Molly saying, I don't think this was for me, and then abruptly says, you know what, it's time for me to go. I have to go. So Issa gets outside and orders an Uber or a Lyft. The fastest Uber or Lyft I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I ain't never seen an Uber or Lyft come up the way that it came up for Issa, okay? That was there in under 5 minutes, all right? It was crazy. But they do live in California, so I guess they're around all the time. Basically, Molly runs out to Issa. She's like, Issa, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. And you know, Issa says, you know, Molly, I'm sitting here trying. I'm trying with you. But if you do not want to put in the same effort that I'm trying to put in, then I can't do anything else with you. I'm so sorry that I didn't understand. I didn't know that it was so hard to be around me, you know? And so, Molly says, Issa, okay, what'd you do? You invited me to brunch? She's like, yes, I invited you to brunch. I wanted to see you. I wanted to talk to you. I wanted to see if we could work this out. But obviously, that's a problem with you. And then Molly had the nerve to say, okay, Issa, but we didn't even talk about our issues or our problems. She goes, okay, so you want to talk about the block party? Let's talk about the block party. I didn't think you wanted to talk about it as of yet, but let's talk about it. So Molly says it's not just a block party. We've been off for a very long time, for the past couple of months. She's like, yes, and I thought this was going to be the start of us, you know, figuring each other out again and then talking about our issues. But I didn't realize I was so hard to be around. And she's like, you know, if you're not willing, what did she say? She's like, if you're not willing to put in the effort like I am, then what am I supposed to do? Like, you know, is that it? So Molly said, well, maybe who you are now and who I am now are just two different people. And maybe we just don't fit together anymore. Now, this is the thing. Issa didn't say, okay, and that was it. She sat there and held back her tears and bit her tongue and said, okay. And for the nerve of Molly to be like, okay, like, girl, you just broke up with this girl. Imagine if that was Andrew saying to you and he's like, I don't think we should be together anymore. What more do you want to say? You want to fight for somebody who just says, I don't think we should be together anymore? No, you're just going, okay. Because at this point, Issa has tried over and over again with Molly. She tried to be somebody there for her. She tried to, like, you know, do the best she can in the relationship. She tried to respect Molly. She even went as far as doing something she said she wasn't going to do. She said she wasn't going to reach out this time. She wanted Molly to do it. But she still met up with Molly for brunch. She thought everything was going cool. And then for you to sit there and get offended because Issa said, I'm not fighting for something you don't want anymore. I'm not going to keep fighting for it, you know? And she said, okay. And she's like, you know, there's nothing else to say. And she got in her car and she was out. So next episode, I did see Molly say to Andrew, I think this, I'm always the person to let stuff go. But I do think Molly and Andrew are going to get into it because there's just too much stuff. There's the trip to Mexico. There's the original block party incident. And then there's this thing with her brother, with Andrew's brother. I really think it's going to be an issue. It's going to be a problem. But we're going to just see for the next episode what's going to happen, how everything's going to unfold. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. Once again, Kerry Washington did a very great job on this episode, directing it. I love that they're bringing in different actors and actresses to come in from the show and not from the show and just, you know, give their hand in directing. I think it's like a really cool thing, keeping Black people with the job and keeping all of us, you know, open to different interpretations of like how life should be handled and things. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I can't wait for episode 10. Let's see how it turns out. If you have any agreements or disagreements, make sure that you drop them down in the comments below. Make sure that you share this video with anybody and everybody who watches Insecure. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Until next time, it was great swiping with you.